I think I've been surprised at not more people taking advantage of the free thieves cleaner in the glass bottle. I know Kim Peters, I helped her with a couple classes, and people were anxious. They said they couldn't afford the kit right now. But I thought the thieves cleaner would really push that over the top. So I think there was a little disappointment that that didn't happen. And I was really surprised, I think, because that's a great promo.
Great deal. What about sharing with your like warm market in general? If you had maybe people on those warm market lists who were hanging out there that you thought, okay, this might be the thing for them. Did you find any success with that, or kind of still those same hesitations?
I have one lady that has said she was going to come to a couple classes, so I reached out to her and nothing yet. I think she needs to come to a class
Yep.
first.
Anybody else?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. Hey, Emily.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I completely agree with Kelly. I have quite a few people who have expressed interest, and it seemed like, maybe it's not quite the right time for them before. Um, and I felt like this was the time. And I was really surprised so far that nobody has bitten and nobody has gone for this. Um, and actually, like, it's such a good deal. Like, I want the makeup kit because I don't have the makeup yet, and I'm going to get the makeup this month because that's a starter kit, and this is a really good deal, and I'm going to go ahead and get it because I don't think it's going to get a lot better than this. So I want it. So I'm really surprised other people don't feel like they need it.
One thing that I've kind of noticed, just it's like something I haven't done well in the past, is taking a sale and kind of having this mindset of like, we know this is a great deal because we are all in already, and we're like, what are you waiting on? And so my thought is, I'm just going to share this great deal with them, and that's going to be the game changer. But we have to remember too that we still have to meet them where they are and meet them in those pain points. So if they still aren't connecting enough of their pain points to the starter kit, then that cleaner isn't going to push them over. So I know I've done that poorly in the past and thought like, shoot, why didn't anybody take advantage? But I've had a little bit better success whenever we've circled back to some of those wellness goals and kept that at the center of the conversation. And then the cleaner and all that stuff, or, whatever is added to it is just an added bonus. Anybody else want to share kind of about their month? Good things, bad things, anything?
Came on a little late. Sorry. I'm trying to catch up
Good.
with what you guys are talking about. But my thoughts on the cleaner thing is that, like, for instance, this month I had been focusing on skincare. And so then I had to sort of like go back and try to throw things in about all the fabulous things that these cleaner can do. And so I felt like the normal kind of, the kit, we're always sharing about the kit. So like when it comes up, we're like, oh, we've been telling you how cool of a deal this is for a while now. But like thieves cleaner, we only touch on like every now and then, I feel like, and, focus on it. So to me, I feel like it was just too much to try to educate people in a few short days about why this is actually such a phenomenal deal. Like, it would have been cool if it lined up with that being our theme for the month or something like that. And then also I thought, so many people throw in a free glass spray bottle or even thieves cleaner as a normal incentive. So I feel like for a lot of people that are new to it, they're probably like, I see that all the time. I'd rather have the money back that people offer or other tools or something. I don't know. Not that I haven't had people asking about it. I don't know. It's not been super successful here either. So.
And I would kind of counter that, Lauren, because I feel like you already do a good job of consistently sharing about thieves cleaner, like in your social media. And so I think that you probably, maybe more than you think, had some seeds planted there. But it's a good point to make that if you've never talked, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later tonight, but if you've never ever talked about thieves cleaner and how your family uses it, then it can be hard to expect fruit to come from the first time you share about how amazing this cleaner is for your family. people could jump in on that, but we'll talk about a little later how that could just be like one seed in their journey. So it's an example of how, maybe Lauren's, been doing this for a while and she's been sharing on social media for a while consistently, and Thieves is a part of her daily routine that she shares about. And so for her to come in and then share this sale wouldn't be a weird thing for people to see. Does that make sense? It's kind of been in that space. So good points. Cool. Okay. Thank you guys for being honest. There's still 3 days left in this. So, keep sharing genuinely how you guys are using this from a really organic place. Touch on those pain points. What are the pain points here? Peace of mind for mamas or mamas of children or pets. Cost, breaking down the cost of that. You cannot beat $1 per bottle. Like you cannot beat that anywhere. Am I missing something? That's another pain point there. I mean, just health in general. I mean, I know my mom has an amazing testimony of how getting chemicals out of their home just radically has changed her health. So whatever that looks like for you, whatever pain point you can connect with,
one more that I've focused on some is like everybody's all about Marie Kondo right now. And so I really try to tell people like this is one way that you can truly minimize, what's in your home, or at least under those cabinets and such. So that's one.
Yeah, I think about Kelly and that she's got that space kind of covered living in a tiny home. And that's a really great point. Okay. And if we have some time later and you guys think of some questions, we can circle back to that. But I wanted to kind of move on reflecting. We've had a couple of groups finish up with Propel. Propel is the, if you're new here, I think somebody else hopped on maybe. Oh, hey, Ashley. If you're new to these calls, I don't really think anybody is though. We are doing as a team Propel, which is a training from Nicole Perez. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a great foundation. We've had 2 groups finished up, and Emily is in one of those groups that just finished up, and she's agreed to just give us a quick testimony about her thoughts on the training, if she thought it was worth it, if she didn't, if she would recommend it, maybe what her biggest takeaway is. Emily, do you want to share a little bit about what you thought?
Well, so I didn't really prepare for this.
Yeah, I
but right
totally
off the
put her on
top
the
of,
spot.
no, it's fine. It's a little bit more real that way, right?
Yeah.
I think that probably my biggest takeaway is that even though I read people say like the more you put into it, the more you get out of it, but I feel like that's really accurate. And the most that I got out of it was those first few weeks when I was the most diligent about really like keeping up with it on time and putting the most into it that I could. And then honestly, like the last 3 weeks, I really fell off just because of other things going on around me. But one thing that I really liked about it that I wish that I had done more of was making sure that I kept up with all of the things that it asked you and made you really think through. When I first started it, because I'm one of those people who struggles to make mistakes, I guess, I didn't want to write in my book because I also just thought, well, I can keep this book and I can give it away. And so I was making copies and writing in the copies. And then, of course, I stopped doing that because I couldn't keep up with it. But actually making yourself write those things down, like for me, that was really helpful. And when I stopped doing that, I didn't do as well. So I think that like going forward for people to use it, I think it's really important to make sure that people are literally writing in their books, because the moment that I stopped doing that, or when I first started and wasn't doing that initially, it was not nearly as helpful. But I realized that when I was reading through those things, even though in my mind I felt like I knew the answers to things, when I actually had to write them out or type them out in the group, it was a lot more challenging, and I realized I didn't know what I thought I knew. So I found it really helpful, and I want to catch up really well on, like chapters 9 and 10. Is there anything in particular you're looking for, or do you have a question?
I don't. That was great. I just kind of wanted to hear some real feedback from somebody who had done it. Don't beat yourself up. You're so close to finishing. She was in there, guys, and she participated, and that means a lot. And so would you say, like, yes, you'd recommend this training? And do you feel like you have a better foundation to go out and share from here on out?
I do. And I think that, like, for me, those extra things that help people who genuinely express interest as builders, like, those are really helpful. I started with listening to podcasts, and this moment I can't remember the name of the podcast I was listening to, but the podcast that I was listening to and then doing Propel kind of made me wish that I had done that earlier instead of thinking that I was good to go by myself.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Emily. We're excited to see some big things from her coming up. So we wanted to kind of put that out there because it's really up to you guys. If you haven't done the training, or if you have sharers who are interested, please pass that along to us, because we will organize those as we see the need in the future. So moving on to planning for next month, just going to give you guys a little outline of what it looks like for team classes this month. We have 3 class opportunities available. The first one's happening Monday, June 3rd, which is super quick. That's next month, you guys. And it's going to be our Oily Generations focus for the month is get it free, like get paid to play. There's a couple different names out there, but basically showing people how to get their oils paid for. So a really gentle introduction to sharing and making that really doable for anybody, whether it's somebody who would want to do this as a business or is just like, yeah, that would be awesome to get my products paid for. So that's happening Monday, June 3rd. I will post links to the classes in our group with this event, and then on our team page, so that you guys can grab that link and share it with people that you think would be interested. I think it's a great opportunity to send a personal invite here to people that you see on your virtual office who are product users and love their stuff. So if they are on Essence Rewards and obviously they're actively ordering every month, those would be great people to reach out to and just say, hey, I know you love your products. Like, this is a fun class you might be interested in to learn how to get your stuff paid for. I think it's a great way to make a personal reach out to your people. And the next one is on June 11th, and that's one that I'm going to do called Travel and Oils. And it's just going to be what the name says, all about traveling with your oils, making the most out of staying healthy during your summer stuff. And then the last one is going to be an intro class. I don't think Rachel has a date for that yet, but I'll get it out to you guys as soon as possible. So our goal is to give you guys an intro class, a public intro class every single month, so that you have a space to invite people on your warm market list who are interested in learning. And then our goal there is when we do those, we aren't following up with those people. So if you've invited people to those, please make sure that you are reaching out to them afterwards and answering their questions and following up with them. All right, sound good? Okay, that's what our class schedule looks like. And then it's looking like, it's not official yet, but it's looking like there's going to be some sort of rank up promotion. So if that is you, if you're close to a rank, if you have team members who are close to a rank, definitely be on the lookout and be strategizing with them about how they can make that happen in June, because it looks like we're going to do some fun stuff with that. And then the next thing planning wise is I wanted to get y'all's opinion on doing like a group effort for a Success Saturday. So through the summer, to see how it goes, I would put up an Excel spreadsheet, and anyone interested could sign up for Success Saturday. And I think just kind of in conjunction with the FDA things loosening and a little bit more freedom in sharing our stories, it's a great opportunity to put some of those testimonies out there and give people a space and encouragement to share their stories too. So if that's something that you would be interested in helping with, like if you just raise your hand, or if you think that's a silly idea, that's okay too. Okay, so we do have a few people who would want to do that. Cool. So I will get that Excel spreadsheet made up, and it's just going to be each Saturday throughout the summer. And then after the summer, we can assess and say, was that a good thing? Was that helpful? And then feel free to share that with your other like builders who are not on this call, or if you have somebody that doesn't build that just has a really great testimony, we'd love to pull them in there and empower them to share their stories. Okay, cool. You guys are always so great to be team players. Okay, so that was all that I had planning wise. Does anybody have anything? Does anybody want to share what they're planning for the month, or something that they would love to see happen this summer before we move on?
I have got 2 spa nights from my team members that I'm going to do for them. Like, bam, I've got one the first week right before Vacation Bible School, and then bam, I got another one right after Vacation Bible School. Then I'm also thinking about doing a women's like dinner, like going out to eat with some of my ladies from my team, and just like inviting people, saying, hey, if you're really wanting to share, possibly do the business, I would love to have us all get together and go out to eat, and I'll talk about the business, about sharing, and we'll just enjoy getting to know each other, and starting to do like maybe like a quarterly thing with the ones that are sharing and everything. So that's what I've got planned. I might do another personal class. Not sure, but I've got a lot planned for my social media if I don't do a personal class here at the house. So that's what I've got planned next month.
That's great, Ashley. Thank you for sharing. And I would share that if anyone was curious about the spa nights, Ashley's had great success with reaching out to her members and them being interested in doing a spa night. So she's, I think, got like 4 that'll be total whenever she gets done. So that's a great thing that we've seen people say, like, yeah, I would want to do that. That would be really fun. And I love the idea for the dinner. That's a great idea for the summer. Or if you're someone who maybe has a small team, big team, whatever. I did that as a community outreach, trying to like build unity with my local team here. And we did 3 of them. During my time here, I kind of focused that the last 8 months or so, and we did 3 of them, and they loved them. And I just made a reservation, and it was a member dinner, so it wasn't like a builder thing or anything. It was just inviting members to come and share a meal. And I brought them each a little happy. Like one time it was I gave them each a nitro and just a little like info card about it and why I loved it. And then I brought a few oils that maybe they had never smelled before as new members, and then talked about those 3 things, let them smell them, and then we just shared a meal together. And so it was really great. So a great, easy thing to do in the summer. Anybody else?
This is kind of a half-baked idea, but I'm going to do like a food tasting, all foods with oils used in them. So, and then people are going to walk away with a little like recipe book or something along those lines, is my thought, that they'll walk away with something and then do just kind of a 101 in the midst of it, but just like different types of foods and using my oils in them and talking about the vitality line. And so I don't know, it's at the end of the month, it will come together more, but that's kind of
awesome. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Yummy. I'm going to come to that. So they get to take a sample plate home.
Yeah, something.
Cool.
I've done a couple of those like with recipes, and what I find is like the best thing to do is to get the like Avery printed sheet that goes in like the 4 sheets, and then they have a lot of different like examples on there, and you can make them really cute and print those out, and then everyone just takes one of those home. So you can do that for all the recipes I normally do that with like whatever oily recipe I do at new class, and everyone loves it. So every time I haven't done that, everyone's been like, give me the recipe. So
Thank you. Good idea.
And you've shared that document before, I feel like, Kristen, with recipes on it. I might have it somewhere. All right. Awesome. Okay, well, I know our time is short here, so we're going to move into just a little mini training that I like to offer you guys every month. Oh, hey, there's Kathy. Hey, Kathy, we're excited to have you. This is her first call. Kathy's rocking it this month, you guys. Like, so many members sharing the love. It's been awesome. So we're glad to have you here. But we're going to talk a little bit about, it's summertime's coming up, and I know it can be tough to stay engaged in the summer. People have vacations, people's kids are home, people are busy. And so I want to talk about why it's important to stay engaged in the summer. We're going to talk about the 90-day rule, and there's a general 90-day rule in business, and any business that you're in. And that basically means that, sorry guys, my notes went to the other page. But that basically means that what you do today is going to influence your business in 90 days. So what's going on in your business right now is the result largely of what you did 90 days ago. So think back, what were you doing? What is this, February? What were you doing in January and February for your business? Are you going through a really slow season right now? Or are you going through a really exciting growth season? A lot of that is going to be directly tied to what you were doing 90 days ago. So if you're feeling discouraged, remember that we are introducing a whole new lifestyle and a way of thinking to people. So that takes time. Think back, how long did it take you to sign up? Is there anybody here that it took you a year or more? 2 years? Yeah. Yeah, so I think that that's good to remember whenever we are kind of in that frustration piece of like, just buy the kit already. Like, we know it's amazing, is to remember that this is a lifestyle change. This is not just asking them to buy a handbag or to buy a piece of jewelry that may or may not match their outfit. This is asking them to take big steps towards lifestyle change, and that takes time. So people often need 7 to 12 touches, introductions, seeds planted before they are ready to say yes to this. And that's because of that big lifestyle change. So what does that look like? If you are only ever showing up to share on kit sale days, then you don't have any seeds planted ready for harvest. But when you plant a seed, we know that we can't just plant that seed and walk away. Kristen LaValle on the Strategy 1000 group, she does a really great job talking about the 90-day rule, and I'll share her video with you guys because I can only give you a really condensed version, but she does a great job of explaining this. But I love when she said, if you plant a seed and you walk away, don't complain when someone else harvests it. And I think that that's just so good, because it's tempting to plant those seeds and then be disappointed if we see somebody sign up with somebody else, or if they never enroll. Seeds, we know, take care. So they take water, they take tending to, and that equals taking care of people. And that's a unique thing about Young Living, is that Young Living as a company is always about people before product. And so that's what we are about too. So back to that 90-day rule, what does that look like? People are always, Kristen shows an example of people being in your funnel. You having a funnel, and those are people in your funnel are people that you have relationships with. So if you aren't involved in things, if you aren't already plugged in with people, then the amount of people in that funnel is going to be really small. But if you already, go to the gym and work out with people, or if you have a group of people that you work with, or if you go to a church, or if you're in a mom's group or whatever, those are people that you have already invested in. And so those are people that are going to be much more likely to trust you when you say like, hey, this has changed my life. So know that once those people are in your funnel, again, it's going to take that 7 to 12 touches before they might be ready. And people can sit in your funnel for a really, really long time. I know there are people on here, but I recently started enrolling people that I've shared with for over 2 years. That's how long, it was much more than 90 days. That's how long they sat in that funnel and watched what we did and watched us share our stories and needed time to be in a good place. So I know this is, y'all, I hate that our time's so short. We could talk on this forever, but please go back and listen to Kristen's video. Maybe you're saying like, okay, how do I get in this like a 90-day cycle? What does that look like? A good habit is to work 90 days ahead. So if you're like me, it can be really hard to think that far ahead and to plan that far ahead. So the first thing would be to set a goal that you want to reach in 90 days. So set a goal that you want to reach and then make a plan to achieve it. So that looks like all summer. Something that you can do is I would encourage you guys to just take your summer calendar and fill in days that you can. Kristen is going to share with us in a little bit. Kristen Bone is going to share with us some creative ways to do this, but fill in dates that you can plan a barbecue, or that you can do a girls' night, or that you can have a member dinner, and then tuck those away now, because we all know that once summer starts happening, like it's not going to happen. You're not going to put those on your calendar. You're going to be at the pool. You're going to be at whatever. And it's going to be a lot harder to be intentional about those things. Okay. So make your goal and then make your plan out your months. And then a big thing that they say, this is for any business in the 90-day rule, is set out 1 hour a day. If you can give 1 hour a day to doing things that work towards that plan that you've made, that work towards that ultimate goal that you've made, you guys, in 90 days, I promise you, you are going to see fruit. You're going to see fruit. That hour can't be scrolling Facebook, but it could be, putting together member packets. It could be following up with people who have attended a class. It could be teaching a class. It could be any of those things. And I promise you guys, in 90 days, you're going to see fruit from that. And so that doesn't mean that we work on this day and then 90 days we see fruit. You got to keep the consistency going. But as you continue to do that, you're going to see fruit over and over and over again. And that's how the momentum happens. So I see people a lot of the times engage for a little bit during a good season, and they pull back for a couple of months, and they engage again, and they pull back, and they wonder why it's so long. It's so long and hard. And it's because there's not that consistency there, and people aren't seeing the consistency, and it really messes with that 90-day rule that we talked about. Okay. So why is this important? In 90 days, we're going to enter Young Living's biggest season. The fall is the biggest harvest for Young Living. Big things happen October, November. And so that's why it's so important to